On today's episode of Wrong Side, football is back. The Bears are 1-0. We check in with the Olympics, with the United States leading the gold medal count at the time of recording. We take a deep dive into Deadpool and Wolverine and do our review there. A fantastic interview with Texas A&M SEC Freshman Baseball Player of the Year, Gavin Grahovac, coming up for you guys, and ending with our usual Outside the Line. In a world full of champions, we find ourselves on the wrong side. Welcome back, listeners, episode 20. And before we dive into football being all the way back, got to give a happy birthday shout out to Megan Halloran, former guest on Wrong Side. Happy birthday. Shady McCoy year. Congratulations. But also, yeah, sorry, I guess, Mike, you can say a few words about your girlfriend.
Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday to her. She great lady, great girl, and Shady McCoy year. So she's celebrating today. This is coming out on Wednesday, but happy birthday to Meg today.
And she's in Chicago for the weekend, so doing right by the Wrong Siders here. But in other Chicago news, I got the hat on. I barely watched the game, but 1-0. Football is back. The Bears aren't usually 1-0, I have to say. There's a lot of new things we saw.
I think it's 1-0 asterisk. 1-0 asterisk.
I'll take asterisks for now.
No finish game. No finish game.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, at least my championship rings don't have asterisks on them, so I'll take a 1-0 asterisk.
Mine don't have asterisks.
It depends on who you ask, I guess. But Hall of Fame
haters.
game, Canton, Ohio. CJ Stroud in attendance. Caleb Williams wearing the jersey for the first time. New kickoff, new names, new faces. What'd you think, Michael?
Yeah, I was at the office on Thursday, so kind of was watching while I was working. One of our interns, actually, he's from California, but his family's all from Chicago, so he's a big Bears fan. So while we were also simultaneously working on the 10Q that's due on Wednesday, we were also pinging each other about plays that were going on. It was fun. It was nice to see helmets back on the field. Nice to see the game going again. Didn't really see many players. No. The over was smashed, even with the rain out, so that's great. Football's back. Tyson didn't even play that much. It was the Ripon game.
No.
Ripien. It was his
Brett
game.
Ripien. They're talking about they're already QB2 controversy in Chicago for the time being. So
I didn't even know that was
Tyson
happening.
Bagent who played. Brett Ripien kind of tore it up, led him to an asterisk win. QB2 controversy already.
Was there a reason he only played one drive? Bagnett? Like why did he only play one drive? Was that the plan?
Earlier in the week, did you see the grinding his face off comment?
Yeah.
So that was the question was, do you expect the Bears to bring in a more established veteran backup? Like Bagent's pretty young too, like performed decently well, but like still not great last year. And his answer, I don't care what they go do. I'm too busy grinding my face off. So the question,
right.
So based on the amount he played in that game, it seems like that he is the secure QB2 with maybe Ripien able to like make a run at that spot. But if he's not going to play at all, like he's not getting extra reps, I'd say that means he's pretty secure in his spot, right? At least from a coaching perspective.
I would agree. Yeah,
which I was shocked. I was pretty shocked about that though.
Especially because like it's one thing in preseason when like a starter plays a drive. Like if Caleb were to play a drive and then like that was it. Yeah, but the second stringer not even getting like a half or something. Like he was out of there after one drive, which was kind of crazy. But still good to see that. I will say I saw Stover have a catch on the first drive. Yep. There was no first touchdown score available on any of the betting sites that I were looking at. And I was telling my buddy I wanted it to be Stover because I know he's probably getting some run because I thought Stover would be like the backup, maybe third string because they have Dalton.
Yeah.
So like maybe he was getting some run and he had a catch to get them the first and goal on the first drive. And then the other tight end that was playing caught the touchdown, scored for the Texans. So I was bummed. My fake bet didn't hit. Yeah. But good to see some guys. I didn't know Cam Akers was on the Texans. So running back room is Cam Akers, Pierce, and Joe Mixon. I don't know if they need all of them, but I know Akers did fall off a little at the end.
Fantasy owner's nightmare going into that one. Yes, I fall for Joe Mixon every third year, I'd say, with his pass catching, but that's gonna be hell.
But it was pretty cool to see. Obviously, the rain cut it short. But the two things that came out before that were the kickoffs. We had finally
Yep.
gotten a chance to see the kickoffs. Obviously, that had started in the UFL, XFL leagues that got brought over to the NFL. I know people were saying that it was going to limit injuries. I am kind of concerned about the injuries. Maybe it's a different take, only because like they kick off and they can't move till they touch it. So when they are going, they're going like full speed, like fast. Like
Yeah.
I think it's like I don't know why, but it looked like every time they were returning in this game, they looked like there was more like knee to knee contact. That's maybe
Huh.
my worry. I don't know why. I don't know why we were changing that. I'd like the regular kickoffs. And like, was there like I felt like concussions and injuries were already down already because the kickers have gotten so good that there's less
Yeah.
returns to begin with. So that was odd. We didn't get to see it in this game, but the other thing I saw was the onside kick. I don't know why they did this. Did you see that? It
Weird.
was like
Super weird.
no,
I hate it.
not legal to the fourth down till fourth quarter. You
Yep.
have to announce when you're doing it. You have to let the other team know. Like even
And
in
you can only
college
do it like
football,
with a lead. Yeah.
25 with a lead, even with college
Or
football
without the lead.
or Madden, you don't have to alert it. You just do it,
No.
and then you want them to waste a timeout, or you want them to figure it out. Like the whole point of the onside kick is to catch them by surprise or
Yep.
needing the ball back. Like that moment in the Super Bowl with Pat McAfee is an all-time moment that virtually you'll never see again.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like those rules. I don't it takes away the onside kick entirely and like the full kickoff. I don't know. I didn't really think about more injuries like you had said before, but quick shout out to the Bears Hall of Famers that went in this weekend. Devin Hester, first return man to go into the Hall of Fame, the GOAT. Who else? Steve McMichaels. They keep showing him he's sick and nearly dying with ALS, and he does not
Yeah,
look like. Yeah, I don't
I
like
don't
how
know
they keep
why they're
showing him on
doing
TV.
that.
Yeah, but Julius Peppers also went in and shouted out Chicago. But Devin Hester, return man, back to the kickoff. It's a completely different play. Like, yeah, it's like still like the kickoff. It's what's going to happen like at the beginning of the game or the half or when a team scores, but the design of it entirely is just like so different. It's definitely going to take some getting used to. And I'm curious to see the strategy that goes into it because there could be like like Justin Fields as a return man that has been
Yeah,
rumored
right.
before. There could be some like throwback passes, like some cool stuff to come out of that play, but it's just it's so different. Like it's hard to like conceptualize that they're both like the same like kickoff. So I don't know. The jury's still out on it, in my opinion, but it's weird.
I don't know. I just think we're changing too much. We're trying. I get it. Like we're at a point in time where the science is so advanced that like people are worried about the concussions, and
Yeah,
we're doing the studies to show that okay, maybe kickoffs here help, maybe doing it this way helps, and there's certain things. But the onside kick one, I don't
agreed.
understand that. I think it has
Mhm.
nothing to do with injuries. I don't know why you would do that. There's so many good things you can do with that play, and you're not going to be able to now. So definitely interesting. I know, like you said, the kickoffs, like Justin Fields, that's going to be interesting. I saw a lot of teams are starting to use that. Are we? They're not doing that in college, are they? They're going to keep regular in
I
college.
think it's regular in college still.
Okay. Okay. Good. Because that I just too much change in football over the last few years. You can barely hit the quarterback. You can barely tackle anybody. Like let's just try to keep things the way they are. And too much change, but still very exciting to see. Bears won, beat the
Yep.
Texans. There was no football the rest of the weekend, which did kind of suck. But by the time this comes out, we'll be one day away from Thursday night football, which I think we have two games, and then there's games on Saturday, on Sunday, and the next thing you know it, by the time we'll blink, it'll be football is back for college. We're almost at the SMU Nevada week 0 game, so that'll be exciting. And I'm really happy football is almost back. It's really exciting.
I need real football preseason. It'll scratch the itch a little bit. This was honestly a little bit of a tease. I didn't watch much of the
Yeah,
game, but for it to happen and then like now we got to wait a couple weeks for anything to be coming back
right.
feels a little cheeky. But why do I need real football to come back? Training camp debates have always been very hotly debated. How someone looks in training camp versus how they'll look like on a real Sunday. And I didn't realize we started basing quarterback hierarchy on touchdown to interception ratio in training camp, and also every like we should start tweeting bullshit camp rumors because that's all they are. Like I have seen them like so drastically different that JJ McCarthy is either 5 years away from ever sniffing the field or he is like the second coming of Jesus
Next,
Christ
Patrick
in
Mahomes.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, that same with Caleb Williams. um Who else has looked good? Justin Fields allegedly looks really, really good in training camp. I am all the way back in on Justin Fields, slightly less than I am in on Caleb Williams, but he's right up there. I still believe in him. But training camp rumors, what do you think?
So I said to you before this when we were doing our call sheet. I think it's Dak's fault. Everyone started picking on Dak the year after he had the interceptions. Dak
Okay.
had a bad year of interceptions, which he had 15, and has that number has now been broken multiple times by other players since that season. But
Uh-huh.
God forbid he has for one bad season, but God forbid. And then the next year they were like he has 5 today, 6 today. I don't understand why that matters because like I saw Mahomes throw 4 picks. Should we freak out because Mahomes has 4 picks?
I want my
Like
quarterback
I've
to
seen
get
the
all the
hit. I've
interceptions
seen
out in training camp. Figure out what does and
right
doesn't work in training camp.
and spin zone, good defense.
We're back.
We're
That's what
back. Good
that's what
defense.
I like to see.
So good defense. But I mean, yeah, the touchdown interception training camp. I mean, they did a whole segment last year on Speak, which is basically like the View for sports fans.
Yeah.
Um, and it's ridiculous. Like, what are we doing here? Like, but it always comes back to the same thing. Like, everyone's just like us. They're craving sports. They need something to talk about. Like, I don't really watch a lot of daily like sports talk TV because I think all of
Yeah.
it's bad. It's all
Yeah.
for clicks.
Hmm.
But I like tuned in and watched a little of one because like there's no football on, those shows are dead. Like I cannot imagine like
Crazy.
viewership numbers on those shows. But for these kind of things, like they love that. Like, oh, bad day at practice. Like, oh, like God forbid somebody like, or like who knows? Like each team could be trying out new plays. Like
Oh
they
yeah.
could be all trying out new routes. They could all be trying like especially like you see like someone like Caleb who all the pressure's on him. He's number one overall. They've done all this to get for him. They have all these weapons. Yada yada yada. Like he still has Rome, who's a first year rookie. Like he's still learning
Yep.
routes. They're still getting like they didn't play at USC
New
together. They're still
OC.
trying to get his yeah. So like picks happen. Like picks, I would say majority of picks happen as well in training camp because of just miscommunication and learning a playbook, especially for a
Easy.
young kid.
Oh yeah. I hate it.
So
That's why we need real football.
people are dying for it. I mean, I was reading today that I was reading a thread. This guy, it was one tweet, and it was like probably like 1, 2, 3 scrolls of
Okay.
Ohio State's practice today. And it was all the quarterbacks, their drives today. And it was like Howard, DB, Sayan, Noland. And Sayan's been apparently horrible the last week. He's been awful at
I
camp, from what
I
I've heard.
thought, was it a week ago that he was insane? I thought I heard he was doing
Yes. So
really
so so
well.
I like said it to my friend who I text a lot about the Buckeyes, and I was like, we've been fed fake news by Saiyan. Like Saiyan's fake news. So like
Yeah.
no one really knows. Like everyone's excited. Everyone wants to have the scoop. Everyone wants to say their piece. Like, but no one really knows anything. I mean, at this point, like for example, like the Cowboys, like Dak had a touchdown and like he had a pick. It's like, well, like Dak threw a pick. Well, where's CD? Where's certain guys? There's certain
Yep.
guys, stuff like that, where that matters. Other teams with contract negotiations, other teams with quarterback issues. It's such a stupid debate, but it all stems from the fact that everyone knows it's August and they're so ready
Yeah.
for football. It's just not real enough to get it yet.
Yeah, that's fair. The dog days are here, but luckily we have something to keep our mind off of it for just a little bit longer. The Olympics. Doing pretty well. United States leading the overall medal count, but overwhelmingly leading in silvers, which I was the victim of watching some close losses the other day.
Bad
Um,
Saturday. It was a bad Saturday. For about 2 to 3 hours, I felt like we were in silver bronze hell. Like
Yeah,
blowing
silver bronze
leads.
cell. Katie Ledecky, she continues to be our Lord and Savior. Newest record to add to her record book lately. First woman to win a gold medal in the same event 4 times. I believe was the stat.
Yep.
But she continues to kill it. She wins by body lengths, by pool lengths. Like she's a dog. She was keeping the Saturday afloat. No pun intended there. But one event that I saw for the first time that I really did enjoy was the intergender 4x400 relay. So it was guy, girl, guy, girl. So it ended with the
Yeah.
ladies. United States. United States had some expectations there. I like flipped it on randomly, and my family and I were like, "Oh, this is interesting." Was this like a newer sport? I know we were talking about this earlier, but what do you
I
have
want
with
to
that?
say I'm gonna look it up, but the mixed gender racing relay, I think it's only like the second time. Like I want to say
Okay.
that. Yeah, here it is. Olympic viewers love a new track event and ask why it never existed before. Here it is. Let's see what it says. It says that What is the 4x4? No. When was the Tokyo 2020? So yeah, this is the second
Oh
one.
shit.
Second time ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was electric. Um, we had a 19-year-old girl as our anchor. She had a big responsibility to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, had the lead and we blew it. Femke Bol, who's a Netherlands runner, basically like turned into like a third gear. It looked like in that last
Oh my
100-meter
god.
stretch. It was
Yeah.
incredible. And I was listening that on Friday, the U.S. team in that mixed relay set the new world record in the
Yep.
semifinal heat. And then they won by 4 seconds. They said like crushed the next team. And then in the final yesterday, they said that Femke Bol was not in the semifinal for the Netherlands because she was
Mhm.
competing in a separate event for high jump, I think, or the triple jump for herself. And everyone said before that she was the girl, she was the
Yep.
athlete that could maybe shorten the lead. And boy, did she do that. And she beat us. She beat us fair and square. She sounds like Mickey Mouse. I don't know if you saw that video, but she
Yeah,
sounds
I
like Mickey
did.
Mouse. But yeah, that was an electric race, and I was really excited by that. I think they should advertise that one a little more. Ledecky, though, as you said, 4 golds, one event. Along with that, becomes she's now in a tie for second for most Olympic gold medals by an American athletes. Mark Spitz also has 9. I think it was Carl Lewis. I don't think that's right, but they're all tied with 9. Three-way tie with
Okay.
9 with in
Yeah.
second place. First
Mhm.
place is Michael Phelps with 23.
23.
So
What a
it looks
sicko.
like that one might be a little tougher to break. I will say I did see that Michael Phelps has no remaining records left, time wise, swimming wise,
Oh.
time. But that seems like one record that's going to be very untouchable for a long time. So, but Katie was
Yeah.
great. Along with that, in the other world of track, Shakari Richardson, silver after the
Silver.
controversy over the last few years. She grinded her way after her suspension for marijuana. Along with that, comes back, gets all the support, dominates all the way up here. But the St. Lucia track star, I don't remember her name, but she ended up getting the gold from St. Lucia.
She dominated
And
too.
unfortunately, a mini tone deaf. She dominated. She just took over. A mini tone deaf, I will say, is Nike airing the Shakari Richardson commercial after she got the silver, and the catchphrase for the commercial was "Winning isn't for everyone."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it wasn't for Shakari either. And Mr. World Champion of what, Noah Lyles, did win the gold in the 100-meter race for men's and is now, unfortunately, the fastest man alive.
Tough, tough. About Shakari Richardson, St. Lucia, that was the gold medal winner. First
Mm-hmm.
medal that them as a country had ever won. They said in terms of square mileage, it was the size of Tucson, Arizona. So they cut to St. Lucia, first medal in Olympic history for them, gold in the women's 100. So that looked like a really cool scene.
Wow.
So mini right side within your mini tone deaf.
Yeah, that's a good one. And last Olympic note, I'll say Steve Kerr, still a war criminal. Still workable. Doesn't know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
rotations work. He's playing mind games with these guys, first of all.
Yep.
I don't really know. Nobody can get in a good rhythm, but 3-0 in the group stage, got the number 1 overall seed. We play Brazil later this week in the quarterfinals games. It'll be very interesting. We're going to see some teams now. We're going to see the Germanys. We're going to see the
Yep.
Greece. We're going to see the France. I hope we get a chance at France. That would be very exciting to do
That'd be
in
cool.
their
Yeah.
home country, and potentially a chance for Embiid to make a name for himself in those games. That will be a game where you need him. You will need size that game. So him, AD, Bam, that will be a game is needed. But everything's going well. As of Sunday, August 4th, I know this comes out on the 7th, but as of Sunday, August 4th, we've now taken over the gold medal count. And obviously, we've been dominating the overall medal count. So hopefully, by the time the next episode comes out, we've gotten the number 1 spot in both.
Yes, sir. That's our Olympic wrap up. Shout out USA, bringing home a lot more golds over this last couple weeks. Now we'll kick it to our interview with Gavin Grahovac.
Now joining us in the studio today, Gavin Grahovac, third baseman, SEC Freshman Player of the Year, 2-time Freshman SEC Player of the Week, a 298 batting average this season, and a dominating series in the College World Series against the University of Tennessee. Gavin, A&M's finest, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having
We're
me, guys.
very
Excited to be
excited to
here.
have you here, excited to do this interview, learn a little bit about yourself and kind of the process over the last year. How was your freshman year? Obviously, we know the stats were great. You weren't in California. You moved home. Myself, I've known Gavin for basically since he was 4 or 5 years old. My younger brother's friends with him, helped coach with his dad and my dad when they went to Cooperstown. Known him a long time. But how was the freshman year in A&M, the entire experience being there?
Man, it was crazy. You know, you come out of high school and you don't really expect to be in like situations like I was in this year. I came in and the coaches gave me a chance right away. So they kind of set me up for success from the very beginning. Um, but from the moment I got there, it was amazing. The campus, the school, the people, like everything about it was absolutely amazing. So much support from our fans. Our home series were unbelievable. I mean, the 12th man, you'll see it in a bunch of other interviews this year, but you'll see it from every guy. The 12th man is unbelievable, and they really do show up for us, and it played a huge role in our season, to be quite honest with you. And honestly, it kind of affected me and how I played every day. But you know, on a personal basis, like it was just fun being out there, living on your own for the first time, kind of get to experience. I mean, I moved states like you talked about, so it was a big change for me at first, and once you get settled in out there, it's like it's just a big family. So, but the baseball part, unbelievable experience, great team, great group of guys. Um, no, nothing short of amazing.
That's
So,
awesome. I know freshman year can definitely be an adjustment for some people in both good and bad ways. Another question I have for you: you had a great time at A&M, great freshman year, a lot of success on and off the field, a lot of freedom. How's the summer been coming back under mom and dad's roof? You're no longer the stud baseball player at A&M. How's the summer been?
it's been awesome, man. I enjoy coming home. I enjoy being able to see my buddies. See my family. I miss it for what 8, 9 months out of the year. So being able to come home, see my family, see my buddies, be with my girlfriend every day again, like it's nice. But like you said, like I'm back under parents' house, but at the same time, like they know like I'm off at college. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. Enjoy my time home. But it is nice being in my own house,
Oh
having
yeah,
homemade meals for my
nice.
parents. Like it's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's
It's
one
awesome.
thing, especially Joey and I both moved to school, went to Ohio State, and we weren't from Ohio, and even though Chicago is six hours from campus, it's still very far. So being two kids that don't get the home cooked meal often, those 4 years, it was very nice to come home. Even if it wasn't often, it was very nice. You're absolutely
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Looking at the season, looking at how everything went, what were baseball, we talk a lot on the podcast. We talk a lot about life and sports and everything, but basically, Joey and I make fun that we do have the athlete brain where everything we talk about is in athlete terms. You can say that you had a bad day at work and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I'm just going to get back up to the plate the next day. What were, for yourself, being in that mindset, what were some things that were tough to adapt to when you got to college, whether it was on the field or off the field, being from home? I mean, for me, especially, I know yourself, you're a big family guy. I was a big family guy. Like, what were certain things where you were kind of adapting to not being able to talk to your dad on the phone and really look at certain things? That's one thing. Or maybe it was class. What were certain things that were one thing tough to adapt being that far from home?
I think like the initial move was tough. Like first getting there, kind of learning the campus. I mean,
Right.
A&M's a humongous campus. So basically, my first semester, I was all
Wow.
online.
Love that.
So like, I didn't even get to go to campus until my until my
What a
spring
time.
semester. So basically, the whole semester I was online. Like the living situation was great. They had us set up right across the baseball field, 4 guys to a house. It was awesome. Everything was great. But I think just the part of like I'm kind of on my own now. Like I got to make my own decisions. I got to do this at a certain time. Make sure I'm on time to the field. Got to go to class. Like kind of time management was really important because I'd go in the morning I'd do class in the morning, lift, field, practice, and then like there was days I was consistently in like study hall. So like I would go see a mentor every week to help me kind of get things settled for the entire week so I don't have to worry about it later on. But I was pretty consistent. Once I got going with that like that game plan, it was solid. But like the original, like the initial start was definitely tough at first trying to figure out everything. I didn't have a car my first semester, so big
Right.
like Texas is spread out. Everything is spread out in Texas. So I was always trying to catch a ride, like all that stuff. But that was tough at first, like off the field. On the field, I think it was just adapting to how much travel there was, like just a whole new environment. I'm in a whole new environment, whole different group of people, whole different set of coaches. Like obviously I was recruited by these guys. I know kind of how the program worked, but finally getting into it. Like high school's awesome. You learn a lot in high school, but I mean, college is a different breed. And I tell that to a lot of people now, like it's the real deal. Like you're facing guys, like I got guys on my team who are 24 years old. Like I was 18 coming into college and I'm with guys who are 24 years old. So it's kind of crazy, but I think that initial adapt was definitely difficult. Not difficult, but it was different. But the guys were great and everyone embraced all the younger guys. So it was a cool deal. I think on the field specifically, I mean, you're seeing good pitching every single day. Like there's never a day off. Every guy throws 95 or every guy's got sink, ride, like anything. And everyone throws strikes, everyone throws hard, everyone throws good off speed. So kind of adapting to that every day. Obviously I had my struggles throughout the year, but it just gives me room to improve for the next 2 years. So that's how I look at
I
it.
love it. During that transition, was there any teammate or coach specifically that helped get you in that training plan, like that system you're talking about with that schedule, or helping you keep your mind right being on the field? I know you had a ton of success there. So is there anyone in the program you want to give that credit to?
Yeah, there was it. I wouldn't say that he like helped me with that specifically, but just in general, like selling in Hayden Shot. I mean, he was 6 years senior this past year, the old guy. Like we all called him Unc. Like he was great, but he kind of originally was like he took me under his wing, and he told me that. So he took me under his wing. He kind of helped me figure things out. If I ever need anything, he had my back. But I mean, he's coming back again for his
Wow.
seventh year, which is crazy. But I mean, if you ever had a conversation with that guy, it'd be the best conversation you've ever had. He is hilarious. But no, I would definitely give credit to him for kind of helping me settle in and be comfortable with everything going on. And
Okay.
he transferred in too, so it's his first year as well. So he was transferred from Columbia. He's originally
Oh,
from
okay.
Newport Beach. So he went to Cyprus for his first 2 years, transferred to Columbia, and then A
Wow.
and M.
Yeah, I've seen you post some stuff with him. He's a funny dude. It seems like he's got good A&M good A&M
He's a
content.
funny guy.
Um, you mentioned earlier, like,
Yeah,
adapting, playing the way, the fans, stuff like that. For someone who's playing at a school like A&M, and you're playing the top tier teams in the SEC, and you're at, crazy moments throughout the season, what was one moment where you were like, holy shit, like, this is kind of big, like, whether it was your first home game, and you've probably, like myself, watched baseball your whole life, and I've seen that crowd do ball 4, ball 5, like, I've seen them doing a million times since I was in middle school. What was one moment for you that you were like, holy
right.
fuck, like, it's kind of nuts.
So it was actually my first. It was actually my first game, my first at bat, and just like you said, I walk up and they're in the middle of a ball five chant, and I walk up to the plate. I'm looking around, I'm like, oh my god, this is real. Like I'm telling you, this place all the way around, everyone's yelling ball five. I'm like, God, I really got to focus on this at bat. But I took my second. I walked up to the plate my first at bat. Kind of took it all in. Like, hear my name get called. It was really surreal to be quite honest with you. Like, it's amazing feeling. You're representing your school and you get to hear that right away. And then everyone's just loud and you got the ball five going, like the iconic A&M chant. But I would say that was definitely my right away. Got right into it. And I remember the at bat. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to keep going. They got to ball seven. I was like, wait, so do I just keep taking or?
Yeah, the mental game from the
So I
plate,
would
I
say that
feel
was
like
it.
you kind of got to be in your head, so you're a little yourself, just like, okay, should I even keep swing? Should I swing? Like, wait through a strike.
But to be
Yeah,
quite honest with you, it does help. They do help. Like it really does get to the
I
pitcher
believe
pretty
it.
much
Yeah, I
every
believe
time.
that.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
oh, go ahead.
I want to talk about recruitment a little bit. Big story in the news lately, college
All right.
football 25. I'm running my own program, Oklahoma State, right now. And I'm lying to recruits left and right about their deal breakers. They want to play the spread option. I'm more of a power run guy myself. So talking about recruitment, what about A&M really drew you in? Was it coaching? Did you have a certain deal breaker in terms of any on the field stuff like that? What made you decide to go to A&M?
So yeah, I was previously committed to Arizona State before Texas A&M. I was committed there for about a year. Coaching change happened there. The hitting coach Mike Early at the time went to A&M. That was kind of my guy. That's who the guy I wanted to play with. I wanted to learn from him, and so I kind of waited out Arizona State, saw what was happening over there. nothing towards them. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't the best fit for me anymore. And I ended up getting in contact with A&M, and I went on a visit there, and it was unbelievable. Went to a football game, got to experience the 12th man for the first time, got to be around the coaching staff. And I mean, the coaching staff at the time, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, like the coaching staff at the time is one of the best coaching staffs in the country. It wasn't, there was nothing to talk about. But, those guys were great guys. I got to learn so much from them. And then, they gave me, like I said, they gave me every opportunity, and they told me that to come in and kind of have an impact right away. So I think just being there, talking to them, like it was an immediate. I didn't have to take any other visits. I knew what I wanted to be. I knew where I wanted to go. I knew a little bit about A&M. I knew about their traditions. Obviously, people have their
Yep.
different opinions on A&M, but it's a great place. And if you come experience it, it's honestly one of the coolest environments to be a part of.
And
So
I was saying,
I
and
just think that,
their brand is crazy alone. And
yeah,
when you said your opinion, it made me want
right,
to say that it's crazy because the AD for A&M just transferred to Ohio State,
Yeah.
and we saw both sides of
yeah,
Bjork
Bjork.
and how people viewed him. So you're absolutely right on
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much like I was there, sat down in the office, and I was like, "You guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I've never experienced a weekend like this. Like, I want to come to school here," and it kind of happened right away. Um, and that's pretty much how I went from there. I was excited with everything that happened. I was stoked to be an Aggie, like everything about it. But at the same time, you
that.
never knew it was going to come with the draft. So at the time, like in high school, we never knew it was going to happen. But I mean, A&M was always in the running. I loved everything about the school, and I still do. Best
Awesome.
decision I ever made in my
Awesome.
life.
Yeah. When that was going through in the recruitment, I remember Jake telling me just kind of how it was going, and you were busy those summers playing for Team USA, playing for Villa Park here and
Right.
there, also going on these recruitment visits, and that takes a toll on your body alone before you even get there. Trying to get all your thoughts, and you're visiting all these schools and everything, it takes a toll in that sense. But for A&M, what has been the best thing since you've been there? Obviously, the fans are great, but aside from like Hayden or the fans, you like, what's one thing? Like, was there a moment where you felt like this was home? Whether it was a fan coming up to you on the street and saying, we're so glad you were here, or maybe just like the guys you're living with, and it's tough being a freshman, and not only being a freshman at a big school like that, it's being a freshman in the spot you were in. The starting third baseman on a national championship contending
Right.
team is a lot different. Was there a moment where you were like, I can breathe a little? These people kind of are behind me.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I remember I go into. So we have this barbecue place out there called Cooper's Barbecue, and I remember I went in there one time, and I'm sitting there with my family, and this mom and her kid come up to me, like little son, and they're like, "Oh, you're Gavin Grahovac." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And she was like, "My son adores you, even from when you were in high school." I hadn't even played a college game yet, and I was like, they were just so excited that I was there, and just like that moment right there, I was like, "This is unbelievable." Like I haven't even played a college game yet, and these fans already are like amazing. Like they're just so sweet. Everyone was so nice. They always had your back. They supported you in every way they could. So it was amazing. It truly was, and I think that right there alone was just something that kind of sparked a little fire in me to be so excited to
That's
be there.
awesome. Kind of in that same vein, you walk in with a lot of expectation. People have been following you for a while. You then turn that into an SEC Freshman of the Year season. How do you manage that pressure? How do you manage that day in and day out with a lot of travel, being a freshman, adjusting? What do you keep focused on to keep that success going on the field?
Yeah, so basically I in the fall I won the preseason, like they all thought I was going to win
The
SEC
voting, the
freshman of the
voting
year,
for
like
that.
the
Yeah.
Okay.
thing,
Uh-huh.
the voting, yeah, whatever it was. And I remember our hitting coach Mike called me into his office and was like, "I just want you to realize, like, obviously you have a lot of pressure, but at the end of the day, it means absolutely nothing. Like, whether you got nominated for that or not, act like it won't ever happen." He's like, "Act like Team USA won't ever happen. Just go out and play baseball and see what happens." And I kind of started the year like it's exactly what I did. I was like, just play baseball, just be me. Who cares who cares about what happens online? Who cares what I get nominated for? All this, all that. Like nothing
Yeah.
means anything until I actually win it. And we're starting the year. I'm going through, playing well. Get my first SEC Freshman of the Week. Come back the next week, get it again. Like it was just cool things like that come up. You think about it for a second, and you're like, well, I got a game on Tuesday. Like that's what's so awesome about college baseball, and it's like you play a full weekend against an SEC school, and then boom, game on Tuesday, and then SEC school, boom, game on Tuesday. So it's like you have to have such a short memory because you're about to play another game. You got another at bat, you got another ground ball. So basically, like I said, but I remember just that moment right there when he called me in his office. It was like, it means absolutely nothing. Like you're not going to win any of it. We got to the end of the year. I remember we were in Alabama. We were in Hoover for the SC tournament, and I'm walking into practice, and someone like gives me a hug, congratulates me. One of the coaches gives me a hug and congratulates me. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why? I wasn't on my phone. We were getting ready to practice. I was like, what's going on? And Mike, the hitting coach, he's like, hey, I just want to congratulate you on winning Freshman of the Year. I was like, oh wow, like that's pretty crazy. That is a really cool. It was a cool feeling for sure. It was so awesome to win that. Obviously they predicted that at the beginning of the year, and we made it happen. But at the end of the day, like I said, I didn't think about it one time throughout the year. So it was definitely a cool, surreal feeling. But just like that entire time, just by him saying that, kind of
incredible
locked me in.
Feeling, probably, to like have that knowing, and like probably trying not to think about that, but kind of having a small little spot in the back of your head, knowing that that's how people thought about you, and then being able to cash in is probably a pretty great feeling. Through the season, obviously in A&M made it to the national championship. Unfortunately, came up short against Tennessee, but you played as far as you could be. You got to game 3, right? It was 3 games of the World Series, yeah. So you got as far as possible as you could in the college baseball season. What was, outside of yourself, what was the best, maybe toughest environment to play in? Maybe or a place you felt like you were like, man, I love it here. Outside of A&M, outside of a home stadium. So best place for you that you played in, or one of the craziest environments. And B, what was the best player you went up against? Maybe not pitcher. It can be a pitcher, but maybe like best bat. Obviously, Christian Moore from Tennessee. That was a great bat all season. So like, who were some of the guys like that?
So I think probably one of the toughest places to play at was LSU. The box.
Yeah.
The box is tough. Those fans let you hear it. So that's a tough place to play at, but again, really cool experience, really cool environment. Favorite place to play at besides A&M, there was a few that were pretty cool. I'm trying to think of where we played. Alabama was cool. It was just raining that weekend, so we had to play a doubleheader on Saturday, which kind of sucked. But we'll come back to that one. I'll think about my favorite place. But player, I mean, I think it has to be Jack Caglione. Like the kid in the box, like that is one of the most intimidating guys walking in the batter's box. Like, he's a big dude, physical, and the guy could literally hit a home run whenever he felt like it. So I think facing him was definitely interesting. I mean, in Omaha, they set me out to the outfield to play the fourth man. So it's kind of cool going up against a guy like that. And obviously, you see what happened in the draft, getting paid as much money as he did in the spot he did. So really, really cool guy to be around. Kind of play. I think we played him 5 times this year series, and then twice in Omaha. So 5 times this year, and
Did you face him
cool
at the plate? Like, did he pitch again? Did you ever get in that bat against him?
Yeah, I got 2 off him. He might have punched me both times, to be quite honest with you. We were at their place on Sunday, and it was our first SEC series. First 2 days had gone really good. Like, I was feeling good. We come up to the 3rd day. He gets on the mound. First pitch was like 97. I'm all, what the hell? This kid. Then he throws a changeup. I'm like, oh gosh, this guy's got everything in the bag. And he ended up doing pretty well against us. But he was good for both ends.
I think it's going to be best for him just to hit. But yeah, he was crazy from both ends. To see someone, especially in college, Shohei may have started like a trend, I guess, now with more players doing that. But very interesting to see.
Yeah,
But yeah, Cags is a good dude. He plays hard, and I was already seeing him dominate in like the Arizona League already with the Royals. So he'll be up quick. I think he'll be up
yeah,
quick, especially
yeah,
for them.
That would be crazy.
yeah.
Gavin, are you an Angels fan?
I mean, I guess kind of,
Okay.
but I grew up a Giants fan. My dad played for the Giants, so I kind of Buster Posey was my favorite player growing up too. So it's
Good.
kind
I
of like
gotta
I
ask
love the
any of
Giants.
the people that Michael bring on if they're Angels fans. I hope you're not a Cowboys fan now that you're out in Texas, but I wanted to know if you had any opinions on the Angels.
He actually
I
is
Oh my
I
before
am a Cowboys
Texas
fan.
before.
Oh,
I was before.
I know
Yeah,
we want to talk about
yeah.
coach. I know we want to talk about the whole coaching change at A&M and everything, but any outlook on the Cowboys heading into this year? My hot take. I'm a Bears fan. I'm from Chicago. By like next year, the Bears will be just like an overwhelmingly better team than the Cowboys. It's been bad over the last few years, but I think the Cowboys are dead.
I think this year's going to be interesting for sure. I'm going to put that one out there. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to get us back going.
Old man Zeke's
Hopefully,
back.
some people figure it out.
Hmm.
Yeah, we got Zeke back, so I was
Oh
a
yeah,
big fan of him out of Ohio State, but we'll see. Hopefully, he got his
I
younger
hope
self
so.
back a
I
little
hope
bit.
so. But back to the topic at hand here. Before we get into coaching, you had you had a great year. Like you said, you tried your best not to focus on those awards, that media stuff coming out. Ended up with a great year. How do you raise the bar now, heading into next year? National championship runner ups. A lot of expectations on the team. Obviously, a lot of off-season kind of drama that we'll get into here in a second. But how do you personally raise the bar heading into your second year?
I think it's just going to come with experience. So now I got a year of college baseball under my belt, playing the best schools in the country. I think obviously my numbers hopefully continue to get better, lower strikeouts, higher walks, get the batting average up. But we'll see where I hit in the lineup this year. That kind of all depends on what we have. I mean, we got a great group of guys coming in. So we'll see what happens there. But at the end of the day, I just want to continue to play my role, just get better in those little areas that I may have struggled in last year. But like I said, like those areas that I struggled just gives me that opportunity to get better in the
Did you
next
feel
2 years.
yourself
So
growing in certain ways at the plate as the year went on? I would assume you're probably swinging a little more, a little tougher in the beginning, and then by the College World Series, let's say, did you feel a difference even in just 6 months, like from game one to game 50?
yeah, I think it was just the confidence level. Like I walked in there knowing like I have a chance to do damage every pitch in at bat. So just kind of walking with that mentality of you're gonna win this pitch, you're gonna win the next pitch. Like you got to be present where your feet are every single time you step on the field. And I think I really dove into that as the season kept going on. Like like you guys talked about, expectations were up, but I just kept riding my wave. Like just sticking with who I was as a person, as a player. Um, Kind of just stick with the team and do my role, try to lead as much as I could, being the young guy, but there was no guy on the team that took anything ever personally. So we all were able to, you know, get on somebody or pick someone up. So it was never one
With a
guy
team
versus
like
everyone.
A&M, especially in college baseball, it's very important, I would say, through my years of watching and being involved in baseball, that on a team like that, it's an all-star team. You've gotten the best guys from each high school. You've gotten some transfers from different spots, and you can't have the ego to think that you're better than anybody else, especially when you're on a run like that. And I know
Right.
Coach Jim, who we'll talk about right here in a sec, and I know even Tennessee's coach Vitello, he kind of preaches that, and you see the way kind of how these like top tier coaches talk. And if the players don't buy into that kind of vibe, then I see it crumble. You see it crumble very often. Not I think
Oh
you
yeah.
do see it crumble often.
Yeah. And I mean, when you got guys like Braden Montgomery, Jace LaViolette, like there's no comparing yourself to guys like that. Like those guys are freak athletes, and when you try to compare yourself to someone else, that's when things always end up going bad. And when you're on a team full of guys from number one lineup to nine in the lineup, like every single guy is good. So whether you're old, young, there's no comparing. Everyone's their own player, and everyone has their own skills. And how you use them is how you contribute to the team. So how you're willing to use them is
Yeah,
is what we
I
preach.
absolutely agree. I think that's the right way to go about it, and that's how you keep success throughout a program, and you build it for years to come. On years to come, it's very
Right.
different to build something on years to come when things from the past have kind of been shaken up a little. Like Joey mentioned, and we've been kind of hinting at throughout the interview. We're going to end really on the last couple questions on this: the portal, the head coaching change. First question: what was that like morning after? Was there a conversation uh, that morning? Did you wake up and kind of see it?
Uh,
And once the news was out there, what was it like inside the portal?
yeah, so I don't really know how
Yeah.
much I'm allowed to talk about. I don't really think it matters at this point, but yeah, we got back from Omaha, and I was thinking, dang, I leave tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. I got to get my exit meeting in.
Just trying to get home.
So we get
Yeah.
back. I'm like, hey, yeah. So coach texted me. He's all, hey, come up to my office for 2 minutes, and he kind of broke the news to me, and I was in shock. I mean, we honestly had no idea. He really kept it under wraps, which at the end of the day was probably a good thing. Like he focused on us while he was there. Didn't want us to think about it, but I mean that's tough for him for sure. It's a tough spot for him. But yeah, he kind of broke the news to me, and I was just I couldn't believe it. I it was tough. It was tough. Like I really looked up to him, and I still do. He's still a great coach. He treated me very well, treated my family very well. So respect everything about him. Obviously, the situation sucked, but I mean, he was put in a spot where it was hard for him to turn it down. So, and I totally understand that. But yeah, it was definitely tough. It was tough. The situation was hard. Just kind of that day, and then everyone kind of finds out later in the day, and that's when everything kind of blew up.
So once everything happened and you did enter, you decided to originally, obviously you're back at A&M, but you did originally enter the portal. What was that like? Obviously we don't, I feel like the portal is talked about very heavily in basketball, in football, in college. It happens in baseball, but baseball, there's a lot more players. I saw over 1,000 players enter the transfer portal in baseball this year, which is a
Wow.
crazy number. But what was that kind of like being in the situation you were in and knowing everything that was going on before Mike came back to take the job?
So I don't remember if it was the day after I got home or when it was, but it was one of those days right when I got home. I remember I was like, in order for me to talk to any
Right.
coaches, we didn't know who the A&M coach was going to be. So in order to talk to any coaches, I had to be in the portal. I couldn't talk to Mike. I couldn't talk to Jim. I couldn't talk to Coach Slosh. I couldn't talk to Kane. Like nobody. And so I get in the portal. I call our compliance guy. I'm like, hey, man, I don't want to do this, but I have no choice. So I got in, and I'm not kidding you. Me and my girlfriend were going to
Local
Bagel
spot,
Making.
Joey. Local spot.
I get off the
Okay.
phone with our
Thanks.
local spot here. So I get off the phone with the compliance guy. I'm not kidding you. 30 seconds later, I get a call. I wasn't answering anyone immediately just because I kind of wanted to let everything settle in. I want to see what was going to happen, and it just one after the other. He would call, they would call, next person. I was like, this is crazy. Me and my girlfriend are just trying to eat a bagel. Like we're just trying to sit down. Like my first day home, getting ready to leave the next day for North Carolina. Like it just kind of everything kind of really hit me. I was like, dang, this is real. Like this is crazy. And I was kind of thinking, I'm like, geez, like, do I test the waters? Do I see what's going on in the portal? Do I see what the market's like? Whatever it was. And I kind of just kept it quiet. Like I didn't reach out to anybody. I kind of let the thing settle, like play out. I want to see what happened to A&M, to be honest with you. Like I said, you guys see how much I
Yeah.
love A&M by the way I talk about it. Like I love the school. I love being a part of it. So I want to see what happened. Gave it the chance. Uh, there was some schools that I had talked to, but at the end of the day, I knew where my heart lied, and the week kind of went on. Uh, we can kind of get into that stuff, but yeah. So basically, I'll just
Yeah.
dive into it. So basically, what happened was the week came. I'm kind of like, geez, man, this is crazy. Like this is all a crazy situation. They had offered another guy the job, didn't want it. I had heard some names get brought up, and all of a sudden I get a call from Jace Laviolette, and he's like, "Hey, have you talked? Like, I just talked to the AD. Like, you want to talk to him? Like, have you talked to anyone at the school?" I was like, "No, I haven't." So Jace had been on the phone with the AD a little bit. I get on the phone with the AD, and basically, we wanted Mike back. Like, we wanted Coach Early back. And you've heard me talk about him pretty much this whole this whole time. Like that's been the guy I've been with for 4 years now, like from Arizona State when I was a freshman until now. It's like sophomore in college. So like we wanted him back. We preached it to the athletic director, and it was pretty cool. Like having that opportunity, like you're on the phone with your athletic director at a huge university, and he's listening to you. Like he's listening to your opinion on what you want. Like it's a player led team, and it's pretty awesome because that's what we preached this year, the whole entire year. It's a player led team, coach fed, pretty much. So able to preach what I wanted to him about Mike and just how amazing he's been. He's a player's coach. He's the guy that we all came to school for. Like we if you're a hitter, you want to play for Mike. Whether you were in the portal and you want to come to A&M, you're a hitter, you want to play for Mike. So it kind of, the week went on. Jace talked to him a few times. I talked to him once or twice. And, he ended up getting the job. The interview went great from what I understand. And, Mike got the job, and it was like immediate. We all came back to school. So that's kind of what it took. And he
was
did it.
telling
It was
Joey
awesome.
beforehand when we were talking about the situation, and I was like, they had like all these guys enter the next day when he left, and all those guys rushed on back when they got their guy back because they wanted him back so badly. And you saw talking then
Right.
about the culture, how we talked about how you want to build that thing. You saw what he was building and the players that wanted to build them. And obviously you're going to lose guys to the portal every year. That did happen with a couple players, but you got your guys back. People were coming back. As bummed as I was, I saw he's not a hitter, but Prager's coming back. As bummed as I wanted the Angels to sign him, but he is coming back. But the team kind of, in a war term, they kind of fixed the coup. They stopped the coup basically on A&M and got everybody back and ready to go. And I would assume that now from your end and from the school's end that rivalry now is going to be even better. I saw that in football, A&M versus Texas, that the tickets are like $700 for when they play this season.
Wow.
And it's the most expensive ticket.
Crazy.
Like I thought Oregon,
Crazy.
Ohio State was expensive, but they said that that's the most expensive ticket. It's going to be the first time playing since they're both in the SEC now. And that rivalry outside of baseball is already growing. And now, you're going to get it in football. You're going to get it in basketball. And by the time spring comes around, people might be at each other's throats already. So it'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where we play them this year, but I know they're one of our teams that we play. I know they changed this year. It's like there's
rivalry.
there's two
The
teams we play every
rivalries.
single year. So we're
Oh yeah.
it's Texas and LSU. We play Texas and
Wow.
LSU every
football
year. So
or for baseball. Yeah. Because I saw
baseball. Yeah,
right.
because you don't play every team every year. There's normally like 2 or 3 teams you don't play. So those are the 2 teams we will play every single year. And I don't know where we play them this year, but
hopefully you
let's
guys
line
are
them
home.
up.
The series
Hopefully
sure.
you guys are
Looking
home
forward to
for the first year.
that'd
year.
be.
But
I'd be a little
Right.
nervous, to be quite honest with you. Like that'd be crazy. But I'm excited for it either way. At the end of the day, it's another series, but obviously a rivalry is a rivalry, and this is a good one. So
Yeah. One more question I did have about the transfer portal. I know you guys did have a good chunk of guys enter the transfer portal when coach left originally. Did you guys have a conversation about that? Was it kind of each guy doing their own thing, or was it a collective effort?
Some guys were on their own. Some guys were in different positions this year than some of other guys, and they kind of wanted to explore their options. And some guys did, and some guys ended up coming back. But no, me and Jace and Hayden were kind of talking throughout the whole process. So it was kind of, we wanted to make it like a package deal if we ended up going somewhere, but we all wanted to be at A&M at the end of the day. And we were consistently on the phone talking to each other, and obviously everything ended up working out. So we're all happy to be back at home. And
Let's do it.
get ready to go this year.
Super glad that worked out. That's awesome for you guys.
yeah. Well, Gav, really appreciate you coming on. Great interview. Obviously, 35 minutes of our time. We've got probably dive into a lot more, but obviously everyone has their stuff to do. But thank you for coming on. We're very excited to have you on. You're our first college athlete, our first SEC freshman of the year. So maybe you'll be the first of many, maybe moving forward, maybe a future partnership. I will say, I wanted to congratulate you on some great new internet. Would you like to say? Yeah. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I have no idea how I got put into that, but I got the text like, oh, sure, I'll
had
do
a
it.
nice Optium, right? Optium internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is he
Optimum,
was
optimum.
advertising for
Yeah.
them this week. So he's back ready to go back to school. It was a great video with his backpack on. But really looking forward to that. Good luck this season. Thank you for coming on. And we're gonna kick it to ourselves now for clutch moment of the week.
Great interview with Gavin. Good luck going into next year. Our clutch moment of the week is brought to you by Shore Metals, serving Southern California since 1970. Big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. See Stan. He'll help you out. Michael, who you got for clutch moment of the week?
Clutch moment of the week in the spirit of August. It's not Ohio State football just yet, but it's Carmen's Crew, Ohio State's TBT, the basketball tournament team who just won the championship in the tournament today. They beat. Oh crap! Hold on. No, I have to redo that. Damn it! Because I actually need to know who they beat. I don't know. Basketball bracket. Let's redo that. Who did they play? Houston alumni. Okay, do that again. Houston alumni.
Okay, I'll do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gavin, for a great interview. Good luck going into next year. Now, our clutch moment of the week is brought to you by Shore Metals, serving Southern California since 1970. Big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. See Stan. He'll help you out. Michael, who you got this week?
In the spirit of Ohio State football coming back, another Ohio State team won a championship this weekend. Carmen's Crew in the TBT, the basketball tournament, $1 million champions. Carmen's Crew, led by Jaron Sullinger and Caleb Wesson, and even Ohio State's Kyle Young, played this past week or week and a half in the TBT tournament, and they defeated the Houston basketball alumni in the championship. So my clutch moment goes out to the ex-Buckeyes who helped dominate, won some cash, $1 million,
Yes,
and won the TBT tournament. That's my clutch moment of the week. Joey, how about you?
Shout out Kyle Young. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. My clutch moment of the week.
I said that one on purpose. I knew you'd like that one.
Off the sports fields, my younger sisters, they're twins. They're turning 21 on August 8th. So we're celebrating over the weekend. Was with a lot of the family. Started the drinks a little early, not quite 21, but a lot of the other family was getting after it. So shout out them. It's weird. It makes me feel old that they're turning 21. But hopefully you get to hang out with them at the bars soon. So shout out the girls for turning 21.
Let's go. Shout out to the sisters and shout out to Carmen's Crew. Now to Outside the Line. Now starting off Outside the Line with everyone's favorite tone deaf person of the week. Joey, who's your tone deaf person of the week?
I shouted out my sisters for their birthday in our clutch moment, but I got to turn around and give it to them right back. My sister Madeline is my tone deaf person of the week. Usually, sometimes these get pretty serious, but her and I were running errands before their birthday party on Saturday. Had to swing by Walmart in the minivan, grab some things, and it was maybe the most atrocious parking lot job by her I've ever seen in my life. So we're in the minivan. It's not a small car. I get that. That's fine. Some people aren't the best at parking. Those of my friends listening, they may say Joey cannot park in a straight line to save his life. That may be true sometimes. But Madeline passed up a million close spots. We had to run in for like 3 things. She goes up, down, like 3 different aisles and ends up parking pretty much as far away from the front door as possible. I turned to her and said, I really think you're this week's tone deaf person of the week. And she was like, oh no. But yeah, had to give it to her. That was crazy. I hated every second of that. Just get in. Just clutch up and get in.
The worst part about my 2 takes on that are the worst part about family tone deafs is I'll make the joke to my family like, I don't know, Mom, I think that was tone deaf, and she's like, don't you fucking tone deaf me, don't you? And then my second thing is similar to that situation. We were coming home from the movies last night, and Jake has been to Dean's house a million times. He was going back from there, and we were giving him directions just a different way, and he was like, I don't know where I'm going, and we were like, bro, like, you know where you're going. Like, you know how to get there. You're acting tone deaf. Like, we're just telling you a different way. Like, he's like, I don't even know what streets these are. I'm like, you've been on these streets a million times. Like,
yeah.
Tone it down. That's, yeah. So sibling tone deaf.
Directional challenge in your hometown is very tone deaf. There's a couple people that I'm subtweeting there, but yeah, figure it out.
Yes. In your own hometown is very tone deaf. My tone deaf goes out to somebody who might be at 17 schools by the time he's in the NFL, or maybe not in the NFL. But Dylan Raiola, tone deaf. You might be thinking
Mm.
this might have some bias due to him decommitting from Ohio State and doing that. Maybe, that may be. But since decommitting to Ohio State, he's been at another high school and he's been at 2 other colleges. So he was
Yeah.
at Georgia, he committed, he decommitted from Georgia, and now he's at Nebraska. And he shows up to fall camp day 1 looking like Patrick Mahomes. He's going to wear number 15. He said he idolizes Mahomes, but he has the mustache, the beard, the hair. I hope this kid fails miserably. I do.
I got some Nebraska ties. So
No, this kid's a loser. He's been at
He's-
4 different high schools in 4 years, and then now has been
that's
committed
bad.
to 3 different colleges before getting to school. This is
My
his third
biggest
school,
problem
Nebraska.
is how do you end up Georgia, Ohio State, Nebraska?
Nebraska.
Like
His
if you're
dad.
like
His dad
Georgia,
works
Ohio
there.
State,
His dad
dad or
works
uncle or whatever it is, but still, like it's the Ohio State Buckeyes or back-to-back national championship Georgia Bulldogs. I don't know how you end up at Nebraska. It was really corny. I appreciate the tone deafness there. Let's see if he backs it up. I mean, he was
Yeah,
this highly
everybody's
recruited.
saying he trains with him and he wants to be him. Let's see. It's
Tricks on it.
Nebraska.
Tricks on it.
Yeah.
I don't
Let's
know.
see. I ain't doing no tricks on it. I'm cutting it
I
off.
hope. All right.
What? But yeah, Dylan Raiola, tone deaf.
All right.
Wrapping up though, right side, wrong side. Let's see what you got.
Well, let's get into it. I saw Deadpool over the weekend. I know we had some takes
Spoiler
about
warning.
Marvel. Big
Spoiler
spoiler
warning.
warning
If anybody
ahead for
hasn't
this
seen
right
it,
side.
spoiler warning. Yes, this next couple minutes.
So Deadpool came out. They announced Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doctor Doom. Those aren't directly related to each other, but I knew about the Doctor Doom news before I went to go see Deadpool. So I was trying to figure out how they were going to approach the multiverse there, what they were really going to do. I went with my dad. It was a great movie. It wasn't anything like it did as far as overall impact to the MCU. It didn't attack that super hard. It was pretty self-contained overall, though it was still a lot of multiverse stuff. But it was as raunchy as the other two, if not more. The first one Disney oversaw. They were able to make a ton of jokes about Disney, which I loved. My dad loved it. So I thought it was a really good movie. Didn't like do anything insane for like my future outlook moving forward. I'm still pretty anti Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, but I thought it was great.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, I actually saw it again last night for the second time, but I did a rewatch. I'm already through the rewatch. I know some people haven't seen it once yet. It was great though. I think it was funnier. It was funny too the second time. Jokes still landed. If he's a funny
Yeah.
guy, I will say I noticed a couple new Deadpools like when they all come out at the end. I had read about it after the first time I saw it, but there was a Wrexham Deadpool who was played by one of their players.
Oh, really?
Kid Deadpool was his daughter.
Yep.
The baby Deadpool was also his child.
Mhm.
Lady Deadpool, obviously his wife Blake, and then in the background you see there's a Greatest Showman Deadpool,
Yeah.
which is an homage to Hugh Jackman. So that was cool. And I did see this. I don't know if you saw this one. I saw this in a like somebody zoomed in on it on Twitter after. But when at the end credit scene, when Deadpool is at the in the TVA reviewing the tape of Johnny when they were in the like captured thing, somebody zoomed in and you see Channing Tatum as Gambit in his original universe. So maybe he's coming back, maybe he survived, because you do see Daphne King as Laura X-23. She is obviously at the ending, so we know she survived. She's made it out. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if any of those other characters did make it out, or they kind of right off into the sunset. I don't really see Jennifer Garner coming back.
Nah,
but
because she's also in Doctor Strange too.
She's like, oh, you're right. You're right.
She's the love interest in Doctor. Yeah, she's Christina.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. So I guess it'd be difficult, but it will be. I'm very interested to see how they go about this Blade. Blade's been delayed a couple of times. Mahershala Ali is supposed to be the new Blade. He makes the comment in the movie, there's only going to be one Blade, and Deadpool looks at the camera. But great movie, great Deadpool version. Excited to see where he's going to be the next few movies. And obviously with X-Men kind of coming back in and Fantastic Four coming back in, it's going to be exciting. I hope Deadpool does have a place in the universe, especially in the sacred timeline.
Yeah, I hope he comes back. I'd say like pretty strongly he's my favorite character at the moment. Kidpool, played by his daughter. Do you know if she actually recorded the dialogue? Because I think she had one line and it was pretty. They said Kidpool's the dirtiest of them all. I don't remember what she said, but do you think
I think she says fuck.
recorded?
I think she says fuck.
Totally does. And it was also, even if she didn't say an actual curse word, it was very raunchy anyways. Do you think, I don't know how old she is. Do you think she actually recorded it, or was it separate audio?
Uh, I want to believe she actually recorded it. I want to believe she did it.
All right. Now I'm calling them bad parents for clicks. But no, it was
But
good. That was
good
my right
movie.
side.
Okay.
Deadpool was good.
And wrong side.
Wrong side. Good question. Oh, this ties back to your airport article, your airplane article,
Okay.
and a story from a couple weeks ago. So your story was flight's been delayed a good few hours. I just want to get home. Like, stop with your comedy routine over the intercom. Like, let's
Yes.
just get
I
this
don't want to
show on
hear
the
your
road.
shtick. Let's get me home. Yes.
Yeah, so we had some weird stuff going on at work, which the details don't even matter, but we like had to do like a Friday morning meeting where we really just needed to like get everyone on the phone for like 10, 15 minutes, figure out what we needed to do and go on our way. We're like, "Hey dude, like we need you to like redo this." And he's like starts going into jokes about it. And I'm like, "Dude, like no, like this isn't a complicated request. Like I'm not even saying like blaming anything on you. We're just like need something from you." And he starts going into this comedy routine. We never even got what we needed at this point. And I'm like, dude, like it's a Friday. Like, let's get in and get out. Let's shit and get off the pot. So I was like, this is ridiculous. So like that was wrong side. It's just like some random work drama going on. It's not super significant, but I was just like, dude, can we just like shit and get off the pot?
On
Was my
a Friday too, like you just want to go
yeah.
home. Like let's get our shit done. Maybe get off a little early, a couple minutes, like get
Yeah.
your work done. Yeah, that shit can't. Yeah, I don't need your shtick. Get out.
Quit with
You
the
know. Yeah,
comedy routine. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. My wrong side is I messed up almost. Luckily I didn't buy them, but I got messed up on the Game Time app. Obviously, I mentioned a few weeks ago that I'm going to visit Joey for the weekend. Ohio State plays for Northwestern. Flight's already booked, already paid for all good stuff there. But we're going to the Bears-Packers game that Sunday. We're looking for tickets. Moose and Bino also involved and potentially coming with us. We were looking. I found 4 tickets, $250. You were kind of high, but you were on the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't that doesn't bother me. I like being 50-yard line, even if I'm a little higher. I'd rather be even with the field than like in a corner for cheaper. I think it's like a waste of money, my personal opinion. But I got super into it, found the tickets. Joey was in, Moose was in, and Bino kind of texted in a group chat when I texted them separately and was like, hey, you guys want to get on these tickets? And Bino said, aren't those Patriots tickets for the week before? And I was like, God damn it. So messed it
Fuck.
up. Bears tickets still expensive. We need, unfortunately, I am rooting. I told Joey already this. Already told Joey this, but I'm rooting for a Bears and Packers slide a little so we can buy
No.
low when they're a little lower. But
Yeah.
that was my wrong side. It's just a mistake. A good thing I didn't buy them though. I was very happy I didn't buy them.
Yeah, I was gonna say like when we were talking when we thought they were the Bears Packers tickets, like yeah, buy as many as you can at 250. I bet you can sell them for a
It was
profit
too
later
good to
on.
be true.
I don't know if we'd be able to turn a Patriots Bears $250 ticket into a profit. So yeah.
No, yeah, it was very good save by Bino to recognize that. But right side though, if you
Mhm.
haven't seen on our social media, got to leave work a little early, as I mean like 7 o'clock. I was still late to the game, but had a rush there. Went to Angel Stadium in my work clothes, had my work shoes on, my work pants, and changed my shirt into the wrong side shirt I'm wearing. Got to meet Frank the Tank. Obviously, if people don't know who he is, Barstool content creator, one of the best fans they have. Everyone thinks he's negative, but I think he truly represents who Wrong Side is. I showed him
Yes.
my Angels Artie Moreno shirt. He took a picture of it before we took a picture together. I posted it. He did collab for a little before he declined to collab and bounced out.
No. Oh.
Got some fans from that, and it was awesome. He's a good dude. Talked a little sports, heard about that, and it was cool. I like his content. All of us like his content. We always talk about him when we lose. Our team loses, but good to meet him in person, shake his hand, take a picture, and got a little more engagement. A lot of people like the picture on our socials.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
today, another right side, another celebrity, Bino and his girlfriend got to actually meet Paige Buchers. So that was on our social media as well. Paige Buckets. So we're
Yep.
wrong sides everywhere. Even Jake, one of our newest workers for us, he met Chuck Liddell at the Angel game on Friday. So Chuck Liddell, Paige, Frank the
Entourage
Tank. It's a
star.
big week. Yeah, Entourage
Big week.
star. We
Yeah.
got. So big week. Wrong side is meeting people. We're getting bigger. Interviews are in place. SEC Freshman of the Year. We hope you enjoyed that interview today, and more stuff coming in the works. But for now, that's all we got. And thank you guys for listening.
Stay blessed.